delivery, man. You crazy for this. Soulful. It's like our responsibility to make us feel something. You know, to make people feel. Make people feel what we feeling. Hey, yo.
Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. This is Comics Today, a show that we do on Wednesday to celebrate the best day of the week, that being New Comic Book Day. And today we're going to be joined by a couple of guests that are going to help me to make sense of some things that are happening in the world of comics and collectibles. As I was sitting here thinking about this show, I was debating whether I made some comments or not. And I think that I'm going to make the comments, but I'm not going to explain the comments. I'm going to allow people out there that are watching this now, watching it back on replay on YouTube or listening to it on the podcast to interpret for themselves what I might be talking about. Some of you will get it right and some of you will get it wrong. It is what it's going to be. So you all know my buddy Rodney. He's come on the show before. He's a CPA. And Rodney and I are members of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And we have been friends for like a couple of decades now. And at one point, I remember saying to Rodney, can I consider myself to be a good person if I hurt people around me, whether it be intentional or unintentional? If I hurt people consistently, am I a good person, right? And believe it or not, I'm not a perfect person. I've gone through all kinds of ups and downs in my life. I've made lots of mistakes, so I am not a perfect person. But this thought came to my mind as I saw things happen recently, where people say that they love this hobby and that they want this hobby to thrive and they want this hobby to survive. Yet they do things that are potentially detrimental to this hobby over and over and over again for whatever reason, whatever it is that motivates them to do these things, they do them. And they say that they love this hobby. They say that they want the hobby to survive. They say that they have respect for people, but they do really interesting things that, if viewed by certain people, could be viewed in a detrimental way, could be viewed by people as the reason why they want to run away from this hobby as fast as they can. People will look at the behavior of some individuals, the vitriol, the anger, the memes, the posts, the comments, as being negative and just not constructive. And so, can you consider yourself to be a good person if you are damaging the very thing that you say that you actually care about? And again, I will allow people to kind of interpret what my comments are for themselves. I will just leave it at that. But as I mentioned, we're going to have a couple of guests that are going to come on, and we're going to spend some time talking about some things that are happening in the world of comics and collectibles. The very first thing that I wanted to mention to you guys is that I am going to New York Comic Con. New York Comic Con, I do believe, is October 6th through the 9th. I am going to be in attendance with Doug, with hopefully Delia, and maybe one other person from the creative team behind Isolation. I will not tell you what my plans are just yet, but my flight has been booked. My hotel, a very small and expensive hotel, has been reserved for me in New York. And I am excited about hitting up New York Comic Con. So if you are going to be in attendance, stay tuned, because I will be putting out lots of details as to what will transpire at New York Comic Con as it relates to my attendance and Isolation. So we are going to be up in the house. The OG is on it. Well done, OG. All right, let me scroll up. There was a comment here. Vegas Con, absolutely not. I will tell you, cons are super expensive. So I will not be in at Vegas Con right now. New York Comic Con will be the one that I will be attending. We will have to see what happens after that. But if you are a fan of Isolation, you will potentially have an opportunity to meet and get signatures or whatever it is from various members of the Isolation creative team, and then me. So if folks are interested in that, stay tuned because it will be going down. I'm scrolling through some of the comments here, and I see you guys talking about it. It will be what it will be. That I have made my comments around it, and we are going to let it go down and see what happens. All right. So I'm going to go to the chat. I want to see if you all hit up your LCSs today and you picked up some awesome comics. I want to know what it is that you picked up. If you read something that is awesome that we should put on the top of our reading stacks, I want to know that as well. And part of the reason why I do this is because inevitably over the course of the week, I see comments, I hear comments, I receive comments from people about what should I read, what's good, what's the good book out that I should pick up, because I like to read comics, so what should I read? So that's part of the reason why we do it. But if you hit up an LCS, if you picked up some books, if you have a new book and or a new book to you, I want you to sound off in the comments and let me know what it is that you guys may have picked up. Also, shout out to my brother Rizal, who is going to be rebroadcasting this thing as part of the podcast. So Isolation is the biggest comic book. There was a hot list that came out. There was a list that came out, and it was like the best selling comics of the week. And I was like, so first of all, Isolation should be on that list because we sold a ton of books. I will tell you that. Then I realized that it was secondary market books, and I was like, okay, let me tone down the bass in my voice. But we have sold a lot of copies of Isolation. Very appreciative of everyone that has actually picked up a copy of it. So looking forward to the new Predator book and Punisher 5. That's what's up. I have not yet read anything for the Predator, but I'm looking forward to reading it. And then Punisher's just incredible. Chris Bigger put out a hilarious meme earlier today on Instagram. If you are not following this guy, man, he put up something just about the fact that Doug and I have all kinds of secrets. It is what it is. 8 billion genies says loot was pretty good. It was a nice addition to the series. They say that's what's up. Scrolling through, I am on the biggest comic collecting hiatus. Gotta save some bread. I respect it, Fat Dad. It's good to see you in here. Again, one of the things that I always say is that you can still participate in this hobby even if you aren't buying books. It's actually okay to not buy books. You can read books, you can press them, you can clean them, you can organize them, you can sort them, stack them, flip them, all kinds of stuff. You don't necessarily have to buy them, just be around. Every cover of Predator, says Sigma. Story surprisingly good for the first issue. That is a little surprising. I will be honest. I find that to be a little surprising, but hey, I am intrigued. I am intrigued. Massino, how you doing, brother? He says, did not pick up any new comics today, but received 11 books from CGC that were submitted last July for pressing and grading. Ooh, that's a swift turnaround of, what is that, like 366 days or something redunculous? Somebody do the math on that one. Glad they showed up, Mass Snow, and glad you are in here hanging out. Gerald picked up Predator 1 and Bloodborne 1. Can't wait to read them, he says. That's what's up. Ken, how you doing? Ken is on a tear. He's on a tear with all this ASM stuff he puts up every single day, making me all jelly. ASM 265 and TMNT Adventures 1 and 2. That's what's up. Herman's in the house. How you doing, brother? It was a pleasure to meet you recently. He picked up some good books. That's what's up. Trev, how you doing, brother? He picked up Judgment Day, Black Panther, Punisher, thumbs up. Jurassic League is just a fun book, says my man Milt. It is good to see you up in here. It's good to see all of you guys. That's what's on. Scrolling through L. Smith. He never lets me down. Jerry, how you doing, brother? He says he picked up ASM 7, Deceased War of the Undead God. That is a heck of a title. That's a heck of a title right there. Ghost Rider, Batman, I Am Batman, Spawn 13. I started watching the Naomi show a couple of months ago, forgot all about it, just watched another episode, technically part of an episode. It's not a bad show, not a great show, not a bad show. Star Wars, Bounty Hunter 26, and a few others. John's up in the house. He's getting on the board. There you go. Madam Blaster is up in the house. It is good to see you. I see the OG up in here. Kingpin Comics is saying no spoilers. No spoilers for Kingpin. That's what's up. Liger Style, how you doing, brother? Small week for him, but still picked up a good amount of books. Yet he doesn't tell us what those books are. I don't know. I don't know what to do with that comment, Liger Style. I don't know what to do with that. We're gonna keep it moving. Scrolling through, where our prey was surprisingly good, says Fat Dad. That's what's up. My man Kevin, how you doing? Picked up Punisher, ASM, Captain, Carter, Blood Syndicate, Black Panther, and a few other issues of ASM. Alfred's in the house. How you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Prey was the biggest movie Hulu has ever had. First of all, let's be honest, Alfred. I'm not trying to take anything away from Prey, but Hulu is trash. Let's be honest about that. Hulu is trash. There's a reason why I canceled it, because it's trash and it's not Netflix, okay? But yes, yeah, Prey. I need to watch Prey again. I need to watch it again. Fight the Good Fight picked up Masters of the Universe 1 from 1989. Star Trek from 1989. What is it with you in the 1989? Well done, brother. Good stuff. I received a photo earlier today from my man Milt. My man Milt sent me a photo. It was the surviving members of Star Trek on a Star Trek set. And it made me sad. It made me sad because there are not many members of that starring cast that actually remain. So it was definitely a sad moment as I looked at that, and I started to kind of think about all the wonderful episodes of Star Trek that I've been able to enjoy. But that was a tough moment when Milt sent that over. That wasn't his intention, but that's kind of sort of how it landed on me. Born of Blood, says Jerry. I guess you picked that up. Mr. E is up in the house. Regie with 2 G's. How you doing? Picked up his first copy of Isolation at Third Eye. That's what's up. Shout out to all the LCSs that actually carried Isolation. There are roughly 9 of them across the country, technically across North America, that have picked up Isolation. Shout out to each and every one of them. And if you have a chance, please support the LCSs that carry Isolation. Order Batman Urban Legend 17. That's what's up. Little Black Adam and Batman. Good stuff. All right. So my first guest has shown up. So I want to go ahead and make a little bit of a transition because I try to be respectful of people's time. So there was some news that came out. Maybe a week ago. And I'll be completely honest, I was slammed. I was slammed. I was underwater. I was on the struggle bus with just everything that I needed to catch up on after making 2 trips to the West Coast in a single week. I was beat. But some news came out, and I did not have a chance to really talk about it on the channel. But now that I'm feeling a little better, now that I'm on the other side of things, I wanted to have my next guest on to spend some time talking with me about this news that actually came out of Shortboxed. Dr. Crow, how are you, sir?
What's up? And by the way, on time, ahead of schedule.
You were indeed on time. And that's why I came to you, because I was like, let me be respectful of my man's time. He has this good head of hair, and I have to be respectful and acknowledge the head of hair. Crow, you work for Shortbox. Right. You're a marketing guy, as am I. You guys broke some big news the other day with this beta version of Shortboxed for Canada and the UK. How long had you guys been sitting on this news? I'm just curious, like, how long had this thing been in development?
A long time, man. There's a joke at the company where one of the things that we were kind of just like, we can't keep doing this to people. Where people are like, when are you guys coming to the UK? When are you coming to Canada? And we're like, it's right around the corner. But that corner, Reggie, was long.
It was a New York corner.
That's a New York corner. That's right. So we were like, okay, well, we have to get this done. But the sort of infrastructure and logistics of managing international business is super, super complicated. And we try to do everything by the books because we want things to be reliable and safe. So we don't have any sort of ways to work around like shipping cost or the ways that we want to go through the government. We want to do it the right way, because the worst thing that could happen is, if you're trying to get around some of those things, it could really negatively affect the business and thereby the community. So that's why it's taking us so long. But we got it done. So now if you are a user, well, now you can be a user in the UK or Canada. And as you said, it's just the beta. So we've got a lot of work left to do. And so that's kind of where we sit right now.
I am so pleased that you guys finally rolled this thing out. I mean, one, I'm impressed you guys keep secrets as well as you do, because like, let's be honest. I talked to you guys, not a lot, but I talked to you guys a fair bit. No one even hinted that you guys were like about to make this magic happen. But I'm pleased that you guys did, because I get so many people making comments on my videos that you all sponsor here on the channel as to like, when is it going to be available? I wish I could get this in Canada. Sounds like a great resource. If only it were available in the UK. Now it's here, and I'm excited for that. And it takes a lot of pressure off me. So thank you, brother, for making that magic happen.
One of the reasons I think we keep secrets well, and this is not a pat on the back or anything, but just so to sort of explain our logic, is one of the things that we don't like when people do, when companies that we buy from or whatever, when they leak something and then it never happens, there's always this disappointment built in. So we don't want to overpromise. We're saying, hey, we're working on it. We'll get it done when it gets done. And when we get it done, we wait to make sure it works before we send it out to people. The last thing that we want to do is be seen as unreliable. I mean, that's really, it's not altruistic totally, obviously. We want to do what's right by the community, but we also don't want for people to be like, those guys said they were going to do it and then never did it, or they did it and it was bad, or whatever, which could still happen.
Yep. I mean, it could always happen, but to that point, we've both said something that I think we need to explain, which is this is a beta version. So what exactly does that really mean? Like, why a beta? Why not just the full version? Like, what does this phase get you all, or get the end users in UK and in Canada?
So beta is our international beta. So Canada and UK are the beta rollout of international. International encompasses the entire globe. So unlike other beta, when you hear beta, you're like, this is an incomplete product somehow, which is still not entirely untrue. But when we say beta, we're saying, okay, can Shortboxed reliably, safely, and easily make a platform for people from Burkina Faso to Timbuktu to Cripple Creek, Colorado? Can everybody use this platform the same? We can't roll out a global platform at a company of our size. I mean, I don't want to denigrate any of the work we've done with the size of the company, but we can't roll out for the whole world without trying it in a few places first. Canada and UK are big places with a huge potential consumer set, and people that we know and love in the communities in those places. And so we were like, okay, well, if we can serve these people first, and we get all of the bugs, the glitches, the things that we need to fix, the process improvements down, we can take this anywhere. But honestly, the international rollout and the beta is not as interesting as sort of what we're really trying to do, which is, okay, yeah, we are going everywhere, but what we really want people to focus on is what's going to be available when it gets to you. Sure, we're going to go to, those other places I mentioned, Cambodia, Burkina Faso, Serbia. I'm just naming countries. Just like naming countries like I'm good at geography.
So wait a minute. That's not the rollout strategy, because that's what I wrote down. I was like, all right, that's the rollout strategy. Is that not it? You just randomly naming countries now at this point?
Well, randomly naming countries is just it's a little skill that I picked up in the bar scene. When people are like, "Where have you been?" I'm like, "Okay, I'll say whatever I want to say."
Such a marketer.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, we just want to make sure that we've got it right, and then we can start adding countries. And this is a pretty common business. We're not unique here. I don't want to act like we're reinventing the wheel or inventing the wheel. We're doing what other companies do, and we just want to do it well.
Yep.
So that's it. But when the product arrives somewhere, we don't want them to have, an app where they have to extrapolate how this might work in the US if only they live there. We want everybody to have access to the same features. We want everybody to be able to buy books. We want to be able to reliably get their books, ship books, sell books. We just want everybody to have the full platform when it gets to them. So that's what beta means for us. So right now, UK and Canada members have pretty much full access to everything that buyers, I will say, buyers have full access. So I says beta for buyers. Buyers have full access to the platform. So there are certain things that are different because of shipping laws internationally, but it's mostly the same. Sellers will be coming to later, but we're just making sure that we're getting buyers now. And the most important thing for us, and I know I'm talking a lot, but the most important thing for us right now is hearing from the community. There's only a few of us working at Shortbox. I mean, we're like a 15-person, company, but there are tens of thousands of users. So you are going to find things as a user. I say you, the royal you. You're going to find things that we haven't thought about. Or you're going to find edge cases that we haven't figured out yet. So the most important thing for us, and this is where, honestly, one of the big reasons I wanted to come talk to you is making sure everybody knows that we need help. Like if you see something, let us know. I mean, we rely, all the features that come out of Shortbox are more or less features where we've listened to the community and are like, okay, well, this is a hard thing for people. Let's try to fix it.
Yep.
So that's what we need here as well.
And what I hear you saying is that the approach that you are taking for beta for buyers in the UK and Canada is very similar to what you guys did here in the US, because I was one of your beta testers, right? I downloaded the app. I played around with the app. I bought some stuff. I gave you guys feedback. Hey, this doesn't work. This works. Hey, this works really nicely, right? I gave you guys feedback. And then you guys went back, I guess, consolidated all of that feedback from the various beta testers. And then you made improvements, and then you rolled out the full version. I'm guessing that that's the exact same formula that you all are going to apply. Can you put a little bit more texture around the scope of the feedback that you all want? I mean, there was like a little bit of a joke in there, like if the spelling for favorites doesn't work, we want to know that. Like, but it's like, what's the scope of feedback you guys are looking for?
That is a joke, but it's also true. There's a huge, so we all come from tech backgrounds. One of the huge things that tech companies try to get right, and this is one of the few things I think tech got right, tech gets right as an industry, although it is not altruistic, they're doing it for business purposes, but there's this process called localization. And what localization means is we want you to open the app and feel like you're seeing something in your own language. We don't want you to have to be faced with the sort of fictitious aspect of running into jargon you don't know, right? Now, with the U and favorites and everything like that, it is a joke in the sense that that's not going to trip anybody up. But we also want people to go in there. We also want somebody, in Leicester to open the app. They're looking for Amazing Spider-Man, 129, and we don't want them to be like, oh, those Yanks. I'm not going to try to do the accent because I don't want to offend anybody in Leicester. Not that I know of. Anyway, you probably got people from Leicester watching, but we don't want them to run into that and have that just be like a little jarring aspect. We want everybody to be comfortable and feel like they're in a space where they can enjoy this on their own terms.
There we go. So one of the other things that I noticed in there, and it was called out, I think, twice. It was like Shortbox is not going to pay taxes and duties. I think it said it twice. That's like legit, because I think a lot of people have, like buyers of mine have been caught up with having to pay customs. And I've had people reach out asking me to pay. And it's like, no, I cannot pay that. Like, I have no control over that. So I thought it was really good that you guys not just highlighted that, but you also highlighted it a couple of times in there. But one of the other things that was made mention of it in the blog post that was written was that people had the ability to store things with Shortbox for up to 90 days. Can you talk a little bit about the why behind that and also how it works?
Absolutely. So people, if you are a buyer in Canada or the UK, if you get a single book shipped out to you, the cost benefit of that is going to affect your bottom line, especially if you're in this to move a book later, right? If you're going to flip it, or if you're a collector, you're like, okay, well, I've got this really great deal, but now I've got to pay this X amount of dollars to have it sent to me now. But if you can pass the marshmallow test and wait till you buy a couple more books, you can bundle them and we can send them out to you. And that's one cost as opposed to several individual the discrete costs that add up and really leave a bad taste in your mouth. So we have put aside, I mean, this is really kind of archaic. We just have space in the office that we've put aside for users so we can keep their books there. Now, obviously, we have a time limit on it because we don't want to keep a book sort of indefinitely. But that way, it makes it easier for you. We just want you to have the best experience possible. So, I mean, obviously, we want you to keep coming back to the platform. So again, not totally altruistic, but as collectors ourselves, we know what the pain points are because we've listened and we've experienced them.
There we go. Good stuff. I felt like I knew the answer to that, but I always like to ask the question to make sure. One of the other things that I want to point out is that as we look at this listing here, it basically says Canada and UK beta for buyers, right? At what point will you guys roll out the full version that gives people the ability to not just be buyers, but to also be sellers in Canada and the UK? Do you all have a timeline for that? Is that going to be one of those, New York blocks that take you forever to get down, to get around the corner? Like, what's the thought there with the timing?
So I won't be able to put sort of a liminal timeline on it, just because I don't want to promise something. Yep. The timeline is as soon as we make sure we have more than a minimum viable product to give to people. And what that means is we don't want people to have to work with a crappy version of the app. We want to make sure that a seller, because it's important for you to trust the platform that you're on. Yep. And if it starts glitching out, or it's suddenly you have to do all these other workarounds and we become a burden on your process, that's not what we want for you, and you're not going to want that either. So the timeline is as soon as we get all the kinks figured out. I will say that we are working to do whatever we can not to have a New York corner again. This would be something that we'd have done quickly. I mean, now that we've already got the really hard part.
Yep. Very good stuff. And again, I'm super pumped that you guys are rolling this thing out. Again, I have a lot of people that have, whenever they see the commercial in the videos that I do, they're like, they always make the comment, if only it were available in my country. And so it's good to know that. And again, this is what I'm hearing. You correct me, that this is not just for Canada and UK. For now, it is Canada, UK, but essentially what you're doing is the international beta that will eventually be rolled out to multiple countries over time. And then eventually, again, after you work the kinks out, folks will have the ability to not just buy comics, but to also be sellers as well. Did I state anything incorrectly in that summary that I just tried to do there?
You said it better than I did. I wish you should have interviewed yourself.
Well, I'm a marketer, brother, so this is what we do, right? So, Crow, from my man Crow from Shortbox, before I let you go, brother, are there any parting thoughts, any news you want to break, like anything you want to talk about before we wrap this thing up? Any notes you want to read that Gene or BJ have handed you in the last couple of minutes?
In the last couple of minutes, let's see if they've sent me anything. They're usually like, Crow, you can't make jokes like that in public. You gotta save that for the office, brother. No, we've got a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. So we're always pumping out new stuff. Today we just released price drop notifications. We've got. I think you're going to be the first one to know this. I'm going to say it. I hope they're going to hit me up and be like, he should have said it, but I'm going to say it. We've got buy now, pay later coming up. We've got so you can. It's PayPal first, and then we're going to add more later. So we're going to make sure
that out.
So you can pay in 4 payments on PayPal every 2 weeks for books up to $1,500 right now, which is a PayPal limitation.
Check that out.
That's dope. I'm excited for that because I'm gonna break from this real quick just to point out how awesome your wall is of slabs and how crappy mine is comparatively. You've got Amazing Fantasy 1, and I've got like this mid-grade Todd McFarlane 423 here.
It's all right, brother. It's all good. Like, I've been working for a couple of years to have a wall like this, right? So, and plus they're all fake. Don't even worry about it. You're good. You're good. But no, so I mean that buy now, pay later feature, that's awesome, because a lot of books that people want are expensive. And I've had people ask me, hey, can I lock in the price and pay you over time? Mm-hmm. And while I would love to do that, I don't have a mechanism for controlling that. Like, I have a busy life. I will forget. Yeah. And then we're both in trouble, right? Well, but doing it through the app, through PayPal, is a great way to go. But go ahead with your thought.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you. I mean, yes, it's really difficult to make these kinds of things happen. And I think people forget about the complexity of the technology behind some of this stuff, because you're used to being presented with fully fledged features from huge companies like Amazon and stuff. But it takes a lot of work to make this kind of thing happen. So we've got PayPal Pay in 4 coming up imminently this week, next week, probably tomorrow, soon. Nice. And then after that, we're testing other buy now, pay later platforms, and we're putting them through rigorous testing. Again, we want to make sure that everybody's having the best experience possible. So right now we're going through things like Klarna and another PayPal offering, and then there's another one. I'm not the one doing it, so I don't know.
Sazzle. I think one's like Sazzle or something like that.
I'm going to go with that. It's because the ops team is working on all of it. And so is our chief technology officer and our engineers. So we've got a bunch of that stuff. And then we've got a really exciting thing, which I cannot talk about, that will absolutely, oh my God, I'm gonna get myself in trouble. It's gonna change the game. It's gonna change the game, and it is coming, Rich. I'm telling you.
But you can't tell us about it. But you just got
I'm
us all riled up
I'm
about
just
it.
gonna scream at my computer alone in my house. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, Crow. Go ahead, brother. Finish up. Go ahead.
It's coming. We got a bunch of to give you some hints behind it. You can speculate responsibly, everybody. But we have access to tons and tons and tons of data. We've been collecting it. We're a bunch of data nerds and data hounds on our side, and we are going to put that to use for the community, and you're all going to be able to benefit from it.
Already got that one. I already know what that one is. Gene we've spoken about that. I've put that one together. Ooh. But I do have a project I'll talk to you guys about soon. So Crow from Shortbox, I want to thank you for coming on, spending some time talking about the new beta version for buyers of Shortbox in Canada and the UK. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Will you be at New York Comic Con? Are you going to be there?
Unfortunately, no. They got tired of seeing me at the booth. So they're like, you take up too much of the wall space, my guy. You got to stay home. So,
well, I look forward to seeing you wherever I see you next time. It's been a pleasure. Tell the rest of the team I said hello and thank them all for the hospitality that they extended Doug and myself at San Diego. It was an absolute pleasure hanging out with you guys.
We loved having you there. Regie 15 is a promo code you guys can use if you want to try the app after that.
Let me write that one down. Regie 15?
Regie 15.
There we go. All right, brother. I appreciate you. Be well, okay?
Peace, everybody.
See ya. All right. All right. I'll hit the wrong button there. I'm out of practice. So again, huge shout out to the folks over at Shortbox. For those that don't know, I have a solid relationship with Shortbox that goes back several years, ever since I met the owners of Shortbox at a con. I did the beta for them, and now they are sponsors of the channel. They sponsor a couple of pieces of content every single month. They hosted us at San Diego Comic Con, and so I'm very appreciative for honestly their friendship. Good people that put out some really good content. So I'm looking over here. Mass Snow is making a comment. Shortbox may be database showing CBCS and CGC census together in one snapshot. That, my friend, would change the game. I don't disagree with that, brother. I don't disagree with that. What is that? My wife is in listening to the interview, asked how big Reggie's family is. There's a lot of brothers. I do have a lot of brothers. We are all family when we're talking about the Gimme Gang. All right. So yes, it is 1G Kingpin. It sounded like if you want to download the app, I'll put a link up in the description of this video later on so you guys can access it. But it sounds like the promo code is Regie15 for you guys to be able to maybe, I don't know exactly what the promo code is. Maybe Crow is still in the room and will give us some context. That caught me off guard. I was not ready for that. I was not prepared for that, but maybe he can put a comment up and let us know specifically what that Regie 15 code happens to be. But yes, brothers and sisters, that's what's up. Chris Bigger is definitely my brother, as is Steve Conge. Deuces, boy, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. No doubt about it. All right, so there was some pretty interesting news that came out earlier today. And this news was sent over to me by my brother, Chris Bigger. My brother, Chris Bigger, sent this news over to me. I was not quite prepared for this news, but an article dropped. And let me preview the article for just a second, and then we're going to invite our second guest on to help make sense of this article. But this is an exclusive. This is an exclusive that basically highlights that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is set to become an advisor to DC Studios. And you guys have heard me cover the DC stuff for quite some time. We spoke a little bit about how the CEO was interested in hiring a Kevin Feige-like figure to come in and oversee things. And maybe that's what we are getting right now. And I apologize for all these ads. I'm on giantfreakingrobot.com, and they have ads like nobody's business that I cannot seem to get away from. But it says here that the DCEU has a chaotic history that just keeps getting worse. The initial attempts to directly compete with the MCU via a shared universe for films under the stewardship of Zack Snyder fell apart in 2017. And you have now Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson entering the DCEU in the post-Snyder wave of films that don't even connect to one another. That's basically what they're saying. They don't even connect. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but generally they do not. Movies like the massively successful Joker and also the Batman are completely independent, separate continuity from things like Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Also the things happening on HBO Max and also Harley Quinn. All of these are separate continuities. And it highlights here, let me see if I can find this section. In addition to being one of the hardest working and most prolific film stars in the world, Dwayne Johnson is known as a consummate producer and curator of his career, skills that DC Studios undoubtedly is looking to access. It has been announced that the future of the DCEU is focused around Black Adam as a tentpole character, so they presumably want to give The Rock, they presumably want to keep The Rock close. And basically, they are saying here that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is being brought on as a Kevin Feige-like mastermind. And I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know if The Rock is DC's version of Kevin Feige. And again, I apologize for all the ads that prevent you from being able to see anything on the screen. But I want to invite my man Squirrel Madness, aka Wayne, my Canadian brother, and the owner of some new original art from Isolation issue #1. Wayne, it is good to see you.
Good to see you too, Reggie. How are you?
I'm doing well. Did you say indeed?
Indeed. And I just want to say I'm not jealous of Dr. Crow's hair at all. At all.
Man, you gotta see it. You gotta see it.
We've got it down. We've got where it should be at, right?
You gotta see it in person though. It gets high. It gets really high, and it is thick and luscious. And it, never mind. Let me just stop. I'm gonna just stop right there. I'm not gonna go any further with that. I'm not jealous at all, but I might be envious. But Wayne, it is good to see you, brother. So,
you too.
Is The Rock Kevin Feige for DC?
No. Okay, first off, and then I just want to say this. I don't really.
Let me get myself together. You didn't even pause. It was like a no. All right, please continue, sir.
Okay, first off, I just want to point out that it's not been officially announced in any way, shape, or form. This Giant Freaking Robot said it's their trusted sources that have told them this. So therefore, unless I see an official announcement, it hasn't happened because I don't trust trusted sources.
And I clicked on the link and it didn't really go anywhere. But here it says, according to our trusted and proven sources, he is going to be made an official advisor to the new vision of the DC comic book adaptions. So you're basically saying, I don't believe it.
Well, I clicked on that link actually, and it took me to a bunch of articles that they have said have come true based on things that they've heard from their proven sources. Therefore, ergo, we are telling you the truth because it's worked for us in the past. So we say.
Yep.
So, I mean, maybe it will be. I don't know. But I until it happens, it hasn't happened. One. And the bottom line for me is if The Rock has any sort of background guidance role within the DCEU, it's because they want to say, look, we've got Dwayne Johnson here who is helping to guide us. We have the world famous top movie star in the world right now as part of our driving force. Doesn't this look great for us? Look, we're getting our stuff together finally. As a Kevin Feige, no. Like, Kevin Feige has a super duper crazy full-time job just building a universe. Do you really think Dwayne Johnson's going to stop his entire movie career?
There you go.
Everything he's doing is he's got like branded gin or
to be an advisor.
Yeah, he's going to be an advisor, maybe even in name only. I don't know how much, but I just don't see it. He's just too big, too important, too busy to stop everything to do something that Kevin Feige has, for example, spent the last probably 15 years
focused
all the
on.
years beforehand, just getting to the point of going, okay, Iron Man. Like it took him how many years to probably map out the entire first phase?
Yep.
And put all the parts in place. There's no way Dwayne Johnson's going to do all that.
Yeah. But to your
Or is he
point,
even really? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. What I was going to say is that it's a very interesting point that you raise, that he might be more of a PR stunt than anything else to say, hey, we've got The Rock, the biggest movie star around right now, is on board with us. We're going to focus on Black Adam and build this universe up. I had not considered that. And so I think that there potentially, you can't go wrong if you're rolling with The Rock. Like, really, can you go wrong if he's on your side? Legitimately.
Only if he does something like Ezra Miller, then you have a problem. But other than that, no. Right now, he's pretty, well loved universally. Yeah. He likes everyone, and everyone likes him for the most part. So you can't go wrong.
He has had some moments, right? Like moments where he's said some things or done some things that people.
I agree,
but generally speaking, people don't speak ill of The Rock. People like The Rock. He is, and like, I sit there and I watch the videos of him making the French toast and drinking the tequila that I don't even drink tequila, but I sit there and watch him drinking tequila and Zoa. And like, I know all the brands of his stuff because it's The Rock, and you watch him because he's such a nice guy. You know what I'm saying? And so to that point, again, DC can't necessarily go wrong hitching their wagon to that horse, because he's not going to be Ezra. Like, he's not going to be Ezra.
No. And not to pander to the host of the show, but sometimes I think about The Rock and I think about Reggie. I wonder, and I think other people do too, all the things that you do between your job and your family and the stuff you do with Swoldier Publishing and your own brand and all the stuff you do managing your house, how do you fit it all in a day? And I look at The Rock and I think the same thing. How does Dwayne Johnson fit all that stuff in? He produces, he manages his own businesses. He works out like a monster. How does he fit that all in? How's he going to fit this into?
It's a legit point. I mean, I have clones. I'll just be completely honest.
Okay.
I have clones. That's how I do it. One of them downstairs right now, sweeping the floor. But legitimately, how does he do it all? And I mean, and still stay positive. Like, you see the clips of him pulling up next to the tour bus, talking to the people on the tour bus. And then later it seems like he just went to the gym to work out. Now it's dark and he's having, one of his cheat meals. I don't know how he does it, but to your point, no one, I don't think. Do you think that they would give him a percentage of the company? Do you think that would be how he would get on board? Here is a percentage of the company. You produce these movies like that. You give me $40 million. I give you some time. Could that be how they're going to do it?
Maybe if he divests himself of some of his other projects and puts other management teams in charge of, say, his tequila company. And I don't know how far this is going, because I'm not a sports guy, but I know he bought out the XFL from Vince McMahon and the WWE. So he's got like the majority, I think, stake in a football like an actual league. So he's got to like push all this stuff off to other people and be like, okay, I'll give you my time, like you said, for money. He
definitely has teams of people that get deployed. Like, I wish I had teams of people, but I think what he does is he has a team of trusted advisors that he assembles and he deploys them on that company. He assembles a team, he deploys them on that company. And then I think he has a structure above that helps manage those things. But even if you do that, it still requires your attention. Like, I sell isolation, I got to go pack isolation. Like, there's no team, there's just me, right? But that was a thought that popped into my mind, that maybe potentially they will work out some kind of deal like that, where he produces some of the movies, he makes a nice chunk of money. Maybe he gives them a whatever period of time to give him his thoughts. I don't know. At the end of the day, to your point, until it's announced, who the heck knows? whether these trusted sources are legit or not. They could have just made this stuff up, you know?
Exactly.
But go ahead.
And I always say all these kind of comic book sites and stuff, they always have trusted sources. And I see lots of scoops being posted on Instagram, and I'm like, yeah, like there's scoops like Chris Evans is coming back to play Captain America, doing a whole series about how he put back the stones.
Yeah.
You didn't do that. You didn't get a scoop. You just made it up.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of making up of stuff out there. There's no doubt about it. But I think that it would definitely be cool if this turns out to be true. I think that there is a lot of excitement around the Black Adam movie. I think that there's a lot of excitement, and we heard that when I spoke about David Salav, the CEO, where he talked about Black Adam was one of the movies that they were very excited about, right? Because he was like, we've seen it, we've seen Flash, we're very excited about these movies. But it'll be really interesting to see how all of this plays out and whether they really start to get their stuff together, and whether there's going to be the Shazam movie, the Black Adam movie, maybe Superman coming in at some point. It could be really cool if they get their stuff together and do some of the things that The Rock has spoken about publicly. I think it could be awesome.
I think it would do them well to have somebody who is an industry person who was the guiding force, or to have an industry person who works with people who are in the kind of the comic genre, who understand the characters, understand the stories. Get somebody like a Jim Lee and be like, bring you on board to help guide how we develop these characters and this interconnected universe and tell larger stories. Somebody that's their bread and butter and understands the characters, that would behoove them a heck of a lot more than getting an actor to come in and do that. And I see Dwayne Johnson as the public face and somebody to engender kind of
goodwill,
confidence in the public that, hey, we've got our stuff together. But in reality, he's just the face.
He's not Kevin Feige. He's not Kevin Feige. He is not the mastermind that's going to be able to connect all these dots over the course of like 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. That's not his jam. Let's be completely honest about that. But he's a cool guy to have on your side, no doubt about it. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, but also who is going to be that true Kevin Feige for DC. They need that person. Like, what was Kevin Feige before Kevin Feige became Kevin Feige for the MCU?
Not sure.
I don't know. Right. So it doesn't even have to be a person with a big name. It just has to be a person that appreciates the source material and knows how to tell stories and connect dots. Go ahead.
And has a long-term vision, can develop a long-term vision and kind of create a plan and stay to that plan and get all the different parts that need to be brought together to make that plan happen. Get them in check, keep them under control, and keep that ship moving forward.
There we go.
And I think it's maybe we should hire Kevin Feige.
I think it's important that when we say Kevin Feige, we are not just talking about Kevin, because nobody does this stuff alone. Kevin, The Rock, they all have teams. They are the captain of the ship, but there is a team that supports them that makes the magic happen. And my hope is that they will find their version of Kevin Feige and that they will put a true plan in place, whatever it looks like for them, that allows them to be successful. That's the goal, because I've heard great things about the Joker. I haven't seen the whole thing. It was too dark and, depressing for me. I couldn't do it. But Batman, I thought was dark and depressing, but I was able to watch that one. I thought that was good. And so I really am excited to see what the future brings. I'm looking forward to Black Adam. I don't know if Dave's up in here. He's inside. He's excited about Black Adam.
I kind of can, not to offend Dave. I love Black Adam. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if I see him as the tentpole for the future going forward. Depends how they develop the character on screen, but I just don't see it. Like, he's just a little too off center, but then they might have said that about Iron Man, and look what happened. So,
or about the actor that played Iron Man, right? True. Like, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. And I would be okay with it appearing to be off center, and then lo and behold, it's actually pretty sweet. Like, no one thought Robert Downey Jr. Come on. People didn't see that. And he became the centerpiece of the MCU for a long period of time and did a fantastic job. The MCU in some ways saved him. in many ways, right?
Yeah.
And it worked out incredibly well for everybody involved, including the fans. And my hope is that the same thing happens here for DC. Wayne, before I let you go, brother, any parting thoughts that you want to share? Any news you want to break? Any original art you want to show? I don't know if it's sitting there.
You know what? I was going to, and I left it downstairs.
Did you? Okay.
I did, but it's really, really dope. It is on my Instagram, which I will give you the handle, but you'll see I have a Regie wall behind me.
Yeah.
I don't have my cover E yet. It's on its way, but I've got all the ones I do have, plus some gung ho as well. So I mean, a nice Regie wall for you tonight.
There you go. There you go. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming on. As always, you brought some insight. You thought about some things that I didn't necessarily think about, which I think is part of why I invite people on. So Wayne, it's been a pleasure. Do you want to give your Instagram so that people know where to find you on the social media?
Squirrel Madness _comics on Instagram and Squirrel Madness Comics on YouTube, even though I haven't posted a video in a very long time. But I'm more frequent on Instagram. So
all good. Wayne, it's good to see you, brother. Be well.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Shout out to my man, my brother, Wayne, aka Squirrel Madness, up in Canada. I was super excited when I saw the news from the folks over at Shortbox that the Shortbox was now available in Canada, because there's a lot of you Canadians over there that leave the comments behind. And I'm so glad that they finally rolled this thing out so that you guys can benefit from what it is that we benefit from here in the States, which is a great app known as Shortbox. So let me go to the chat real quick. Wayne is part of the comic book crowd that is on Joe's channel. I do believe, Joe, you do that on Fridays at 9 o'clock. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I got that wrong. Kevin says Regie is going to A-OK me his wall. You can have the wall. You just can't have the books on the wall, sir. You can have the wall. If you can get it out of the house, it's your wall to have, my man. It is a heavy wall. Let me tell you, it is 8 feet. It is 8 feet by some odd feet. If you can get it out of here, it is yours to have. Thank you, Tina. I definitely appreciate that. Both guys did a really good job, no doubt about it. The Rock has one of the biggest social media followings in the world, literally top 10, because The Rock is awesome. I'll be completely honest. Everything that The Rock puts out, by and large, I watch. Him with his daughters, him with makeup, him making that French toast, him making those big muffins that he makes. You know, I watched all. Watched the workout videos. I enjoy some Rock. I really do. Please buy me something. Steve says he is on Shortbox right now. Please buy me something, brother, and just send it right here to the house. Last Friday of each month at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the time of the comic book crowd. There you go. That's what's up. Scrolling through. Thank you, Massino. I definitely appreciate it. I have a couple of other announcements that I want to make, but I do believe 3 Men in a Basement are going to be doing a review of Isolation a little bit later tonight. I'm trying to scroll through here now and see if I can find it. Doug sent me an alert, and I do believe it is going down tonight. Maybe somebody in the chat also spoke to Doug. Here we go. 3 Men in a Basement talking about Isolation live stream at 8 p.m. tonight. There you go. Now it has been served up to the comic book community. If you guys have a chance, swing by and check it out. So let me hip you guys to just a few other things, and then we are going to wrap this thing up. For those folks that came in a little late, I am going to be at New York Comic-Con October 6th through the 9th. I'm going to be there with Doug and some other members of the creative team. Where I'll be, how I'll be showing up, to be determined. Stay tuned to the channel for more details on that. Also wanted to give you guys a heads up that we launched our Kickstarter today. We launched a Kickstarter for issue 2. We are in the process of working our way through issue number 2 in terms of the artwork and all of that other kind of stuff. And we hope to be able to get this thing out to you guys before the end of the year. I don't know how to navigate this quick Kickstarter, so I'm trying to figure it out as I talk here. I can't find what I was looking for, but we have kicked off the Kickstarter for issue 2. Basically, what we are going to do is to try to raise about $10,000 to pay for the printing associated with issue 2. Printing paper is super expensive right now, so we hope that we can raise the funds to be able to bring issue 2 to life. If we don't, we're still going to print issue 2. I'm just telling you that right now. It's still going to happen. Maybe a smaller print run, but we are still going to make the magic happen. But my hope is that people will be able to support the Kickstarter. I'll put a link in the description of this video for people. And what I will tell you is that one of the best packages that we have out there for people is the ability to get all 10 covers of Isolation. There are 10 different covers of Isolation issue number 1 that are out there. The last 2 dropped today. Comic Tom has 2 covers that are homages to the Tomb of Dracula. And those were the last 2 covers, because there's 2 versions of them, a color and a black and white. Those are the last 2 covers that we were waiting to come out to kick off the Kickstarter. But you get all 10 covers. You get A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, and then you also get the Patreon version cover, as well as one of the first 25. So the first 25 cover is the rarest of all covers that we put out. It's literally the first 25 copies of cover A that I pulled out of the box that will have a sticker on them. There are only 25 of them. There are only 10 of these total packages that are out there. So all of the covers, all 10 covers of Isolation as a single package includes the ones that I released, the one from Steve Conge, the ones from Comic Tom, the Con exclusive, the Patreon exclusive, you name it, it's all going to be there. But then they also, as part of that package, get a copy of issue number 2 as well. So there are several different packages that we are offering up. All of this is in service of printing issue number 2 of Isolation. All right. So I've said enough about that. I want to thank everyone that's already supported. I think there's 10 people that have backed the campaign. It just rolled out about an hour and a half ago. So I want to thank everybody for their support thus far. My hope is that we can get to issue 2. The way that this thing is going to work is that Kickstarter is all or nothing. So either the thing funds and reaches the goal or it doesn't. So you never get charged. But again, my hope is that we are going to be able to raise the funds to make the magic happen, because printing is super expensive. Dave says, super excited about the Dracula homage. It is definitely a really, really cool book. No doubt about that one. So, so the update. Yeah, I'll give you an update, Matt Snow. It was 4 times as much as I thought it was going to be, Matt Snow. 4 times. 4 times the amount. Hurt my heart. And I am not moving forward with that project right now. Between construction costs, again, printing costs are super expensive. Construction costs are super expensive. Everything is still really pricey right now. And then you factor into it inflation. It was more than 3 times the amount that I thought that it was going to be. That project is on hold. And that's it. I don't know when it's going to happen. Let me just tell you, it is indeed. It is ungood. No, I will be putting a link in the description. I'm going to be putting a couple of links in the description of this video. One of them will be to the Kickstarter. And then the other will be to Shortbox with that code that they gave earlier, that Crow gave. Regie 15 is the code that was put up. It is indeed. It is a shame, man. We got the number. The guy called me. The builder that I reached out to, and he says, here's the number. I'm not yet done calculating. Do you want me to finish? And like Wayne, I was like, no. You could stop right there. There's no need to go any further, because that number is too big. So it is not going to happen. Who made it home? Who else listens to Regie while riding a bike? You could take some Regie on the go, my man. It is good to see you, brother. Regie needs a Matt Woods to build his garage. I do have a project management experience, brother. You're welcome. You're welcome to roll down here and build this garage, man. It is that number hurt my heart. I will tell you, I was not prepared for that number. I was not prepared in any way, shape, or form. We may end up doing a pool instead, because like in comparison, a pool's cheap. Like a pool's super cheap. Like give me a couple of pools. So the kids may actually get a pool instead of dad getting a garage. So what is that? The new word is shrinkflation. Less product at the same price. Oh my goodness, you guys are Joe, I will keep my fingers crossed for you, brother. Man, I hope your number looks better than my number. You know, my number, it hurt me. It really did. It really did hurt my heart when I heard the number, because I need the space. My family needs the space. Yeah, we need the space. But we will make do with what we have, and we will be thankful for that. You know what I'm saying? We will be thankful for what we have. Comics in the pool? No, sir. No, sir. That will not happen. So what's funny is one of my neighbors, Neil, who comes in the chat from time to time. He sends me messages, and I think I may have told you this, guys, before. He sends me a listing for a house that's like 10 minutes away from our house, from our neighborhood. And he's like, we should just buy this. He's like, we should go in and we should buy this together, and you can have space for your comics and I can have space for a workbench or a work shed. I'm like, I'm not buying a house with you, brother. That's not going to happen. It's a little more attractive. It's a little more attractive just to buy the whole house that's 10 minutes away versus trying to build the garage in the back of the house. That's how shocking the number actually was. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm gonna wrap this thing up, man. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. And as a reminder, this live show will be rebroadcast on the podcast. And you might wonder, where is the podcast? The podcast is on whatever platform you choose to listen to podcasts on. All you have to do is to search Regie Collects, and you may find up to 150 different episodes that have been released over the last year plus, or whatever it happens to be. As always, I want to thank you guys for listening. I hope that you guys enjoyed the show. And if you did, I definitely want to encourage you to hit the thumbs up button. And if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, I definitely want to encourage you to do that as well. And if you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.
My body ate itself until it found its passion. They got fat while we starved, but it's power in fasting. Until I turned to ashes, I remained stoic through my rap heroics. I painted 10,000 poems, then I drank the potion of poetry and motion. I started choking, it was potent. My throat chakra downloaded, knowledge hungry. I was embarrassed I could ask my parents for money when I had a full tummy. So I asked for wisdom, better than crypto, sweeter than honey. I don't take it for granted, I don't wear capes and masks.